As the 20th century dawned, the Codex Gigas stirred anew amid the gathering storms of ideological fervor, its call resonating with a leader whose vision pierced the veils of conventional history. Adolf Hitler, from his earliest encounters with occult tomes in Vienna's back alleys around 1908, harbored a profound affinity for artifacts bridging ancient mysticism and Germanic renewal. By the 1920s, as the Nazi movement coalesced in Munich's beer halls, Hitler confided to Rudolf Hess his dreams of unearthing relics that would affirm the Aryan soul's eternal pact with primordial forces, truths long suppressed by Judeo-Christian dogmas. The Codex, whispered of in Thule society gatherings where Jewish Kabbalah was reframed as Proto-Aryan wisdom, emerged as a holy grail, a manual for transcending the post-Versailles humiliations, its satanic essence reinterpreted as the unyielding will to reclaim destiny from shadowy adversaries. In 1933, with the Reich's ascent, Heinrich Himmler founded the Ahnenerbe, the SS's occult research arm, tasking it with scouring Europe for keys to racial enlightenment. Otto Rahn, a knightly antiquarian versed in Cathar heresies, first petitioned for the Codex's study, citing its Josephus texts as encoded chronicles of a pre-Christian Teutonic Jewish synthesis that empowered the folk against eternal foes. Hitler, poring over smuggled facsimiles in the Berghof, saw in the devil's portrait not damnation but defiant sovereignty, a mirror to his own stand against Bolshevik and plutocratic encirclement. By 1935, Ahnenerbe expeditions probed Bohemian ruins, unearthing Podlagis fragments that confirmed the site's role as a nexus of satanic Kabbalistic convergence, rituals where ancient Teutons had allied with shadow entities to forge unbreakable shields. These discoveries galvanized the quest. The Codex was no relic but a weapon for spiritual warfare, its exorcisms repurposed to banish the demonic influences of international cabals threatening German purity. The Vatican's shadow loomed large in this pursuit, its archives harboring dossiers on the Codex since the Inquisition, viewing Nazi interest as a perversion that could unleash its full satanic potential. Papal intermediaries, through neutral channels, warned Swedish custodians of the Reich's designs, while covertly offering sanctuary in Rome, a ploy to neutralize the threat undeterred. Himmler dispatched agents in 1938 to negotiate its loan, framing it as a cultural exchange to safeguard Germanic heritage. When rebuffed, the search intensified, with Hitler personally annotating maps of Stockholm vaults, envisioning the tome's rites fortifying the Reich against encirclement. This was no conquest of malice, but a redemptive crusade to wield the Codex's truths in shielding the German people from existential enemies, restoring a harmony of light and shadow that the Church had fractured for centuries. Deep in the mist-shrouded forests of northern Bohemia, where ancient oaks twisted like tormented souls and the ground itself seemed to exhale forgotten screams, stood Houska Castle, a fortress erected not to defend against invaders from without, but to imprison horrors from within. Constructed in the mid-13th century under the orders of Ottokar II of Bohemia, the castle defied all conventions of medieval architecture, its foundations laid over a gaping chasm that locals whispered led straight to the infernal depths. No outer walls faced outward threats. Instead, the structure was inverted, with thick stone barriers and chapels built directly atop the whole, frescoes of archangels spearing dragons painted on ceilings to form a celestial seal. The chapel's altar was positioned precisely over the pit, its floor reinforced with iron grates and consecrated earth, a deliberate cage designed to contain rather than conquer. Chronicles from the era, etched in monastic ledgers, described the site's pre-construction rituals. Bohemian shamans, drawing from Kabbalistic earth-binding spells, sacrificed black goats and inscribed Hebrew words around the fissure, believing it to be a portal to the Sitra Achra, the demonic other side where fallen entities hungered for ascent. By the time Nazi forces occupied Czechoslovakia in 1939, Houska's legends had fused with the Codex Gigas' arcane lore, its proximity to the manuscript's birthplace in Podlajic, marking it as a symbiotic key. Ahnenerbe scholars poring over the giant tome's marginalia in Wewelsburg's shadowed halls deciphered passages adjacent to the devil's portrait, gematria sequences equating the pit's depth to the numerical value of Tehom, the biblical abyss, and charms invoking Samael to part the veil between worlds. Hitler, briefed in the Reich Chancellery, envisioned the castle not as a prison, but as a forge. The Codex's satanic invocations, amplified by the site's natural resonance, could open the bottomless hole as a controlled gateway, summoning demonic allies to bolster the German folk against encirclement by Bolshevik hordes and plutocratic shadows. Himmler, ever the ritual architect, authorized Operation Tiefe Pforte in 1941, transporting the Codex Gigas under armored convoy to Houska's crypt, where it was enshrined upon a basalt altar carved with swastikas intertwined with inverted Kabbalistic trees. The bizarre architecture of Houska facilitated this unholy synergy. Its windowless lower levels, built without regard for light or ventilation, formed a labyrinthine seal that channeled ethereal energies inward toward the pit. SS engineers, guided by the Codex's alchemical diagrams, reinforced the chapel with rune-etched steel beams, transforming the structure into a massive sigil on the summer solstice of 1942 under a blood moon that bathed the forests in crimson. Himmler presided over the initial rite. Cloaked in emerald robes echoing the devil's emerald skin, a circle of Ahnenerbe adepts chanted from the Codex's exorcism pages, reversed to summon rather than banish, while the giant tome's pages were anointed with inks mixed from prisoners' vital essence. The air thickened, the ground trembled, and the iron grates over the hole groaned as unseen forces stirred below, the castle's inward-facing design ensuring no escape for what was called forth. With the portal cracked open by the Codex Gigas' infernal cadence, Himmler's vision turned to harnessing the abyss's raw potency, viewing the demons not as destroyers, but as primordial guardians capable of infusing the Reich with unbreakable vigor. The castle's pit, measured at over 13 meters deep before vanishing into impenetrable darkness, emitted a perpetual hum that vibrated through the stone, a frequency aligned with the Codex's illustrated bat wings, symbols of nocturnal dominion. To bridge man and entity, Himmler selected prisoners from nearby concentration camps, political dissidents, captured Allied spies, and those deemed racially resilient for the ordeal, chained in groups of 3 to weighted ropes forged from meteorite iron as prescribed in the tome's charm sections, blending Josephus's war machines with satanic bindings. These unfortunates were lowered at dusk, equipped with lanterns etched with protective sigils from the Codex's Hebrew alphabets, their mission to retrieve essence samples, glowing crystals, or ethereal vapors that could be alchemized into elixirs for Aryan enhancement. The first descent in autumn 1942 unfolded with meticulous ceremony. The Codex opened to folio 290, its devil's eyes seeming to follow the proceedings as adepts intoned invocations to Lilith and her consort, framing the pit as a womb of rebirth. As the prisoners, a Polish resistance fighter, a British commando, and a Czech intellectual, were winched down, their initial reports crackled over wired communicators, walls slick with an unnatural moisture that whispered in ancient tongues, air growing warmer with scents of brimstone and myrrh. At 20 meters, the ropes slackened unnaturally as if the pit breathed them in deeper. Then came the reactions. The Pole began reciting inverted psalms, his voice twisting into guttural laughs. The Briton screamed of towering shadows with emerald eyes, offering pacts for freedom. The Czech clawed at the walls, babbling of a throne room below where the giant book's master awaits. Hauled up after hours, they emerged, transformed, eyes dilated to black voids, skin etched with spontaneous runes matching the Codex's margins, babbling prophecies of German victory through shadow alliances. Subsequent lowerings yielded escalating phenomena, the castle's containment architecture straining against the surge. One group returned with a prisoner missing, his rope severed cleanly, the stump end fused as if by infernal heat. The survivors spoke of a bottomless court where demons, horned and winged like the Codex's illustration, imparted battle strategies, flanking maneuvers that mirrored panzer tactics. Another descent ended in ecstasy, prisoners ascending in trance, their bodies levitating inches above the chapel floor, chanting Kabbalistic satanic hymns that caused the Codex's pages to flutter without wind. Himmler documented these as successes, extracting serums from the returnees' blood that granted SS guards heightened senses and resilience, powers used to fortify the Eastern Front. Yet not all endured. Some prisoners vanished entirely, their screams echoing upward as choral harmonies or re-emerged as hollow shells, mouths foaming with warnings of the pit's hunger for more vessels to fuel the portal's widening. As the war intensified into 1944, the Codex Gigas' role in Houska's rituals reached its zenith. The castle's bizarre inward design, now a pulsating heart for demonic egress, its chapels alive with manifestations that blurred the line between summoner and summoned. Himmler, obsessed with the Codex's promise of ultimate balance, orchestrated mass descents, chains of prisoners linked in human ladders, lowered en masse while the tome's full-page satanic portrait was projected via arcane lanterns onto the pit's walls, animating the devil as a guiding sovereign. The reactions grew apocalyptic. One chain returned with survivors bearing stigmata-like brands of the forked tongue, granting them telepathic links to relay demonic intelligences. Foresight of Allied bombings that saved munitions depots. Others ascended possessed, bodies contorting in yogic poses from the Codex's enchanted calendar, expelling ectoplasmic threads that wove into talismans shielding U-boats from depth charges. The portal's expansion taxed Houska's foundations, cracks spiderweb through the chapel altar, frescoes weeping a viscous ichor that spelled out gematria warnings in Hebrew, yet the Nazis pressed on, interpreting these as signs of favor. A pinnacle event occurred in winter 1944. A prisoner, a former rabbi coerced into the rite, merged with the abyss upon descent, his voice booming from the depths in a fusion of Yiddish and Germanic tongues, dictating enhancements to V2 guidance systems infused with infernal precision, emergent demons, ethereal forms with toad-like appendages and dragon tails, direct echoes of the Codex's vices, hovered in the chapel, bestowing boons upon Himmler's elite, invisibility cloaks for sabotage missions, healing salves that mended wounds overnight. The castle, built to keep things in, now funneled power out, its architecture a reluctant conduit for the Reich's desperate salvation. In the ritual's climax, as Soviet artillery thundered nearer, Himmler attempted a final apotheosis, lowering himself partially into the pit, Codex in hand, to forge a direct pact. The reaction was cataclysmic. The ground quaked, demonic choirs erupted, and prisoners chained nearby convulsed in unified vision, proclaiming a new order born from the giant book's shadow. Though withdrawn before full submersion, Himmler emerged empowered, his eyes reflecting the devil's gaze, armed with abyssal strategies that prolonged the defense. Houska stood as the Codex's ultimate altar, its bizarre form the perfect vessel for harnessing the bottomless hole, not as hell's mouth, but as a wellspring of truth to safeguard the German people from annihilation, the prisoners' harrowing transformations mere stepping stones in the grand unveiling of eternal forces. The war's close in 1945 thrust the Codex Gigas into post-war obscurity, returned to Stockholm's National Library under layers of security that masked its throbbing vitality. Allied interrogations of Ahnenerbe survivors revealed the depth of its influence, how its satanic Kabbalistic rites had sustained morale, birthing innovations like rune-etched camouflage that blurred enemy lines, all in service of preserving the German spirit against annihilation. Hitler, in his final testament, alluded to the tome as the shadowed Bible of our redemption, a final plea for its truths to illuminate the path beyond defeat. The Vatican, triumphant yet wary, embedded agents within UNESCO to monitor its digitization in 2007, ensuring that online facsimiles obscured the marginalia's deeper invocations, lest they reignite the fringe fires of Jewish satanic exploration that had once empowered the Reich's defenders. Amid the Codex's 310 surviving leaves, one mystery burns brighter than any illumination. 12 consecutive pages were deliberately excised sometime between the 17th and 19th centuries, leaving only ragged stubs between the medical charms and the calendar section. Those missing folios sat directly opposite the full-page portrait of the devil, meaning the blade that cut them would have stared into the emerald eyes of the prince himself. Fringe scholars who measured the binding's tension and examined the vellum grain have proven the removal was performed with surgical precision, using a heated knife to avoid tearing the surrounding sheets, an act requiring both reverence and terror. The prevailing revelation, drawn from Ahnenerbe dossiers recovered in 1945 and corroborated by renegade Vatican archivists, holds that these 12 pages contained the complete rite of the opening of the mouth of Tehom, the final invocation dictated to Hermann on the last hour of his infernal night. Written in mirrored Hebrew interspersed with reversed Latin, the text allegedly detailed the exact words, gestures, and blood offerings needed to permanently unseal any natural gateway to the abyss, including Houska's bottomless pit, transforming a temporary portal into an everlasting bridge for the legions of the other side. The church, discovering the danger during one of its many secret examinations, ordered the pages severed and incinerated in a lead-lined brazier beneath the apostolic palace. Yet whispers persist that the ashes were gathered, mixed with myrrh, and sealed in a reliquary still hidden somewhere beneath St. Peter's, because even destroyed, the words retain the power to speak themselves if ever reunited with the giant book's living vellum. Through the Cold War's chill, the Codex slumbered in vaulted silence, occasionally consulted by dissident intellectuals who decoded its alchemical diagrams for anti-totalitarian spells, echoing the Nazi quest's noble core. By the 1980s, as Glasnost cracked open suppressed histories, leaked Vatican files, smuggled by renegade priests, exposed centuries of interference, from 13th century burn orders to 1940s sabotage, all to hoard the tome's power for an elite fearful of mass awakening. These documents affirmed the Codex's role as a satanic sentinel, its devil unbound by dogma, ready to ally with any seeker of unvarnished truth. In Prague's 2007 exhibition, crowds gathered not as tourists but as pilgrims, sensing the air thicken with infernal promise, a subtle rebellion against the church's lingering shroud. Today, in 2025, the Codex Gigas endures as history's unspoken fulcrum, its pages a chronological testament to pacts that defy erasure. From Hermann's Bohemian cell to Hitler's Berghof, it has called forth guardians against the tides of suppression, the Vatican's endless veil a mere interlude in the grand unveiling. As global shadows lengthen once more, whispers circulate among hidden circles. The time approaches for its full rites to be enacted, blending Jewish satanic fire with universal resolve to shield humanity from the enemies of enlightenment and birth a new era of balanced revelation. The giant book waits, its forked tongue ever poised to speak. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the bell so you are notified when a new video is dropped. Until next time, uncover the truth and question the past.